And I got to tell you, Richard, everyone was more excited that you were hosting the show today than I am here in Denver. So I'll let you take it away for the top.
Well, I'm glad that everyone was super excited. I think they were just glad that I wasn't in Denver right now. But we're back here with Tristan Thompson. Tristan, you left us, you come back, like you go play in the conference finals. So now they're here, the Nuggets, the Miami Heat. I want to talk to you. You did your first finals media day. You were 23 years old. Take us through that for a young player. Is it a lot? What is the attention like? How do you keep your routine?
Well, first of all, I'm glad to be back. It's good to see you, RJ.
Whatever.
Good to see you. Got your chest out, Miami Vice. You know, I see what you're doing.
I gotta rap a little bit.
I see what you're doing.
Gotta rap a little bit.
But no, I think for me, Richard, my first finals, first of all, no one had us going to the finals. Everyone had us losing to Chicago because they had Pau Gasol, Jimmy Butler, Joakim Noah, and so on. But first media day, being so young, myself and Kyrie, the amount of attention, it starts with the hotel. When you land, the hotel, it's so many fans outside screaming, and, Golden State fans, they're rowdy. Those Oakland fans, they're rowdy. They're banging on the bus, and I'm like, what is this? And then, Bron, calm, cool, collected with his Beats headphones on, just
knew what to expect.
Yeah.
Was there something that caught you? So my first media day, I was a rookie. We're playing the Lakers. We get no media in Jersey. At that time, there was nobody that's covering, a couple of newspapers. And all of a sudden, you land in L.A. for game one. It's Shaq, it's Kobe, and it's just mayhem. Was it something that you were kind of expecting, that you knew? Because it gets more each round that you go.
Yeah, no, it definitely grows, and like you said, when the finals, it's the biggest stage. You have all the different countries, Canada, China, everyone that watches basketball, they all fly in town, and the media is just, you have your, you have your booths,
yeah,
and you have people interviewing you for 10, 20 minutes, and you got, Guillermo. I was excited. I knew I made it when I had Guillermo and Good Morning America. So I was like, Mom, I made it. I was like, please.
Okay.
And Michael, for the first time in franchise history in 46 years, you all are in the NBA Finals. What was the moment that you took to yourself and it sunk in?
Well, it took a few days after, beating the Lakers. It was so surreal when that game ended, and I had a laugh with Josh Kroenke, our owner, the next day, saying when I woke up, I still wasn't sure if it was real that we made the NBA Finals. But on that plane ride home, the players kind of letting their hair down, if you will, enjoying the moment. And that's something that we talk about a lot, Malika, is enjoy the moment, the ride, the journey, enjoy who we're on that journey with. But let's not forget we have much work to do. We weren't satisfied with just making the NBA Finals. That wasn't our goal, was just to win the Western Conference Championship. Our goal is to bring the first championship in Nuggets history, and we have a chance to do that starting tomorrow night. We've had a great week of practice. It was nice to finally know that who we were playing.
Yeah.
And our guys have been tremendous in terms of their focus, their discipline, and just being locked in.
Let's talk about one of those guys, Nikola Jokic. You said in February that you wouldn't trade him for anyone for the world. What was it that you saw in his rookie year that made you think, okay, he's going to turn into the two-time MVP that we see now?
For me, what stood out was early on, you talk about the skill set, you talk about how unselfish he is, but what really stood out to me, and I learned this from my father many years ago, what makes a great player is one that makes everyone around him better. And I saw early on that Nikola took more joy in making a play for his teammate than he did for himself. And we always talk about being selfless and trying to have a selfless culture here with the Nuggets. And Nikola Jokic embodies that every single day. And to see the 8 years that we've been together, the 7 years I've been with Jamal, to get to this point, I couldn't be more proud of a group. But Nikola from day one showed that he can carry a team, he can make his teammates better, and he was driven to make sure he came back a better player every single year.
The player that Nikola said that he was happiest for reaching this point is Jamal Murray because of everything he's been through, the injury he had to come back from. Have you taken time with him to pull him aside and just reflect on all of this?
We have, and a 7-year journey, and I feel really fortunate that, I realized that Spo, myself, Steve Kerr, Pop, long tenured coaches, that's a rarity in this business.
Yeah.
So me and Jamal always talk about, the moment when he suffered the ACL injury in San Francisco, that bus ride the next morning, the lowest of the low, tears in his eyes, my eyes, and he's thinking, are you guys going to trade me now? And as I reassured him that we weren't going to trade him, but he was going to come back a better player. And to kind of help him get through those dark days and to be back where he is, I just couldn't be happier and more proud of Jamal Murray, the journey he's been on. And to Nikola's point, missing as long as Jamal missed, coming to practice and watching guys work on a craft that you can't play or be a part of, That's really hard and challenging, and so proud of Jamal to get through it and be a big part of us being in the position we're in today.
The defensive anchor of this Denver Nuggets team. And in these postseason, right, we've seen you guard LeBron James. You've seen you take on the defensive assignments of Karl Anthony Towns, of Kevin Durant. And now we have Jimmy Butler. What is it about you in each one of these assignments that makes it so you're the go-to guy?
I guess it's just defensive versatility. You know, I guard 1 through 5. I can slide my feet. I can kind of like bang with the bigger forwards. And then just kind of studying the game, you know, understanding what they're trying to get to, their tendencies. You know, out of everybody that I've guarded and that we've guarded in the playoffs, Jimmy could arguably be the most complete player in terms of just the entire totality of the game. You know what I mean? In transition, in cuts, an offensive rebound, like the in-between game, offensively and then defensively as well. So, you know, it's a challenging matchup, but I'm excited for it. I love it.
Do you go to Michael Malone and say, pick me, I want this, I want the other team's best guy?
No, I think it's kind of just like an unspoken, but I would if I had to, for sure. You know, like when other teams, like we got great defenders on this team. We got KCP, we got Bruce Brown, a couple other guys. Jeff Green can really guard. And we got guys that can play good defense. But when somebody gets going and somebody's water is going, I take it on myself to try and cut that person's water off.
You're the person who says, okay, I'm going to stop this. What is the most underrated part of Nikola Jokic's game?
I think it's his dunks.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, man. He got a dunk package. You know, he got the reverse bob. He got the back tap. You know, he can sky on you with the right, the left. You know what I mean? I'd say it's the dunks.
I mean, he lives in the paint, but we don't get to see it very often. Are you imploring him to join your high-flying club over here?
Always, every single time. I mean, everything else is like great. You know what I mean? So I guess dunks would be like, by default, the most underrated.
What would you rather, an excellent dunk in this series or watching Nikola Jokic throw it down on somebody?
Ooh, I would love to see Jokic dunk on somebody. That gets me hyped. It gives everybody like the energy. You know, it's just like it's just such a good momentum boost. But yeah, I think I'm gonna get my dunk. You know what I mean? People kind of expect that. It's unexpected when Jokic gets his dunk.
Do I dare ask which dunk is going into the upper room in this series? Who you want to dunk on the most, or is it just everybody in your way?
That's a good way to put it. Anybody in the lane standing there that I have an opportunity to dunk on, that's what I'm going to try and do.
Malika, the biggest challenge in this series for the Heat is how to defend Nikola Jokic as a screener and as a playmaker, because that's how other guys get involved, and it makes the games easier for his teammates. And I'll show you a couple examples of what I mean from their matchup with the Heat during the regular season. And it starts with the screening action. He is so wide with his base that when he comes up to set this screen on any defender, and you're going to get a ball-scoring point guard here in Murray come off, which means you're going to have to go over the top. Well, because the screen is so wide, when you start to go around this, you are automatically now behind the ball handler. And that means you're now going to force the big to hover in the lane to protect and help. And that means that Jokic can now slip to this open area of the floor to receive the basketball. This is all intentional action because they want to get to the second part of this, which is here. As Jokic catches it, you see he's below the foul line, so he's headed downhill. That means the defender in the corner has to offer some help and get to the edge of the lane. As you can see Tyler Hero does right here. He's providing help, and now he is far enough away from his man in the corner in KCP that Jokic is going to immediately run dribble action to that side of the floor, gets the dribble handoff, another wide screen. KCP comes off, gets to this area of the floor. You can see the defender trailing around it, never quite catches up, and it's an easy 15-foot pull-up jumper for KCP. Great action. Dual threat there for Jokic. Now, this I love because very few teams, if any, are going to run off-ball screening action for their center, but that's what they do. KCP sets the screen. He's going to float out to this area of the floor. Jokic is going to make the read. Is he going to curl this all the way to the rim if Hero stays hugging the screen? If he doesn't do that, Jokic is going to come off in this area of the floor and try to engage Tyler Hero, who was guarding KCP. So if Hero reacts to it, which he does, Jokic is going to stop. With his 6'11 frame, he can see all over the floor, and he sees now that KCP is going to pop here for a jumper. But guess what? Even if this defender pinched off the corner, Jokic is good enough to make that pass here. Doesn't matter because he's 6'11", he's got great velocity on the basketball, and he's got a great mind for where it's supposed to go. His ability to make guys better ultimately is why Denver is a favorite to win a championship.
What I want to know is how should they try and guard Jokic? What is it that you saw against him? You had some quality minutes late in that series.
Yeah, you listen, Jokic MVP, you're not going to be able to stop him. You got to make it tough for him. And for me, guarding him, it started meeting him early. And I think old school bigs, coaches teach us, meet him early. Put a body on him. You see this? I'm getting low center of gravity because Jokic plays a lot of stand-up, upright. So for me, always make him feel you. Push him off the spots. RJ, every inch counts. See right here? Holding your ground, pushing him off his sweet spot. You know, as a scorer, if you got to work extra hard, you're going to take shots like this.
And that's fine. You live with shots like that. You body him up, he shoots a turnaround. What else?
Same thing. Fight for real estate. Fight for your real estate early, and that's what I'm doing. Getting low center of gravity, pushing off the spot. 2 feet away from the rim. Dribble handoff, not there. He's floating around now, wants to duck in. Nope, I'm gonna play swim move, how we were taught in Little League. Now you go top of the key. Shot clock running out, butter situation.
Good contest. Good contest. And what I like about it is that you are always on his body. It doesn't matter. Every inch you're holding him, every inch you're pushing him. When he goes out, you're doing a little bit more. Okay, so my next question is this. How do you try and slow down Jokic and Murray in that two-man game?
I mean, this is what their go-to. In the fourth quarter, this is what they go to. This is when Jamal had 20 points against us in game 2. Listen, Jamal Murray, when he's going left in the pick and roll, keeping the ball in his left hand, he's at 25% efficiency rating. Going right, he's at 75. So for us, we try to force him going left. I think, me personally, I think in the fourth quarter, or maybe the second half, I think the Heat are going to have to put Jimmy on Jamal and put Bam on Jokic and switch the 1-5 pick and roll. Keep a guy in front of you.
Yeah, you want to say that because you don't want those guys getting in foul trouble early. We saw that with Anthony Davis. You don't necessarily want him guarding Jokic. You want him kind of like off playing free safety, but I don't know if the Miami Heat have the bigs, the big depth for that. All right, speaking of the Heat, Jimmy Butler. What are you seeing from Jimmy Butler? How should the Denver Nuggets guard him?
Well, this is Aaron Gordon. He said he wants to cut the water off. Well, this is the guy. His water's been flowing since Milwaukee. So listen, can Aaron Gordon stay out of foul trouble and make it tough for Jimmy? Listen, Jimmy Butler is getting to the free throw line 9 times a game in the playoffs. That's a lot of easy buckets. So can Aaron Gordon use his big body size, because they're like size, his quickness and athleticism to make it tough for him? Have him take the fadeaway jump shots. Have him settle for threes, because that's a big part of Jimmy's game, is getting to the free throw line.
Well, and I know Aaron Gordon gets a lot of credit for what he's done defensively. Now, Jimmy Butler, look at the numbers right here as you see it. Those numbers are impressive, third most by any player in the last 5 seasons. But they have more than just that. They have more than just, they have Bruce Brown. They have lots of defenders on there for Jamal Murray.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.